The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
All right. My dog, of course, immediately wants to go out as soon as we start recording. But welcome to the Thursday 30 podcast, brought to you by Ingles Market. Low prices, love the savings. Blessed to bring it back to the beautiful game this week. I'm joined by Coach Giordano and Taylor Durall, the sparkling forward for the men's soccer team. Taylor, we talked before we went on the air about the best feeling in soccer, I think, has got to be when you make a goalie yell at his defenders. What, in your opinion, how right am I?
I'd have to say the best feeling is winning a match with your team, especially those important rivalry matches. But on a personal note, I mean, seeing if I have a good turn-in shot, seeing a goalkeeper get mad at his back line, that always feels good.
Well, let's see you could do both. And then we'll just all the answers are wrapped into one.
Hey, that's a win-win. That's a win-win.
Coach, what about you in the beautiful game? And I know you're coaching at a bunch of different levels. What's the best feeling for you?
There's a couple. To see the boys or see the players celebrate and how they celebrate together. That feeling hits double when you go back and watch it on film. When you see the group and how it's just a massive celebration, and how you can look at it and say, okay, this really is bigger than an individual. It's a team. Seeing them find success as well is so important and just so exciting to see when they do things that you're talking about tactically or that you've worked on for the weeks building up, and then it comes out in the match or it comes out in the game where now it starts to click for them. That's something that is just so exciting for them to be able to find success, and you can bring it back to what they're able to do and the enjoyment that they get out of it. Because ultimately that's what coaching is all about. It's about your players. It's about them finding success. And even more in our sport, when you get to games, it's about the players. Coaches don't have much of an influence on a game. They can, right, in a negative way, and they can help some in a positive way. But for them, the games is all about what they can go in and do. And so seeing them have success, that's something you really couldn't ask more of, and just really gets you going and gets you excited. And then you throw in a last minute goal, take us beating Presbyterian last year in overtime, and seeing the celebrations and those things that gets you going as if you've just had a couple shots of espresso or coffee or something along those lines, from what I understand.
From what you understand. So you're not a coffee drinker.
No coffee. No coffee, no espresso. I think the boys appreciate that I'm not that way anyway. I think they already know I've got too much energy as it is, so it's probably for the best.
Taylor, if coach comes to practice on coffee, you're calling in sick that day?
I don't know if I go that far, but it's gonna be an interesting practice for sure.
What would you haven't really seen Coach Giordano in practice yet, have you? Or did you get a spring practice in before the pandemic hit?
So when we were undergoing the head coach change, Mick stepped in and was kind of the interim head coach during that period for 3 or 4 weeks until he was officially named interim head coach. So we played 2 matches under him and probably had, what was it, like about a month of training, coach, was that?
Yeah, about that. Maybe a touch more, maybe 5 weeks or so.
Yeah, something around there.
Yeah, really February we were able to get after it and training 3-4 times a week. But just trying to put into play what was best for the players and what we wanted to do. Our system, our style, just those types of things.
What is a Coach Mick practice like, Taylor? Is it pretty chill?
No. I mean, right off of the bat from the warm-up, everyone's sweating bullets. You came to play, and then, I mean, the boys have loved playing under coach because it's all, I mean, everything we do is competition based, and there's always something on the lines. Everyone's always trying to fight, trying to win. the boys just love competing, they love grinding, and they love doing it together, and it's made us a great group.
Coach, what's drawn you to this Bulldogs men's soccer team? What's something that you've seen as an assistant coach and now as a coach that you find that you wanted to, the reason that you wanted to be the coach of this team? What about this group of guys?
No, they care, and they're truly a family, right? We've got a couple core values that really is what our program is all about, both on and off the field. You know, we've got character, commitment, development, family, and involved. And speaking on the family one, they really are family, and they're extremely close. And you know, and I think Taylor agreed that they were almost too close at times, where they were worried about, you know, having to call out their best friend, or because they were so close and so intertwined that they had to really understand that doesn't mean you're going to have arguments off the field, or you're calling them a bad person or anything. It means we've gotten a standard, we've set a standard, and that's okay if you call them out in training for something that, you know, between the lines, that's something that needs to be better for the group to find success. And they've done that. They've embraced that, and they've accepted it, you know, in the spring. And just the way that they want to compete, the way that they do want to win and want to find success more than anything else. And the way that you can continue to push them. You know, we as a staff have really enjoyed it, and we know that there's big things ahead for them because they want to compete. They love that we send out things after every training. We send out statistics of, you know, whether it's GPS and heart rate data, or it was goals and assists or shots, whatever it was. They love to have that stuff each day. So then, you know, they can go on and try to improve on it. And it's not just the habit. So, oh, look, I ran more than you. It's okay, this is what I've done today. Let's see if I can continue to improve on it. And so when you get to work with a group that always wants to improve and wants to be better and wants to make a difference and a change, it's not really, you can't really ask for much more as a coach. It just makes it enjoyable.
Taylor, you being a part of that close group, how difficult is it to just suddenly go into Zoom classrooms and Zoom team meetings, to go from that closeness bond to trying to continue that bond virtually?
It was tough, to say the least, but then again, I mean, every team across the nation was dealing with it, and I think that close bond definitely helped. Was definitely beneficial for our group going into the fall. I'm not worried about our group missing any steps, missing a beat, and just because of that close bond we had. The Zoom calls were a lot of fun because you could see the guys, you know, laughing at each other. The guys with the bed head who obviously just rolled out of bed, and then we had some team bonding with some trivia. That was always fun because the boys, you know, banter back and forth. So, I mean, we really haven't missed a beat with it. But the coaching staff's done great in giving us avenues to stay close and finding creative ways to engage us.
Coach Giordano, if you see one player, just one, I know there's probably a bunch that you see making a giant leap during this off season, who do you think it would be, and why?
From within our group?
Yeah.
I think it's hard because I think there's more than one for sure.
Oh, sure.
Like that. I mean, to say we're proud of the boys and how they've been able to do some things. But you know, for myself, I would say the one that really stands out besides Taylor and besides Ben and Andrew, kind of our leaders, you know, it'd be Colin Daughtry. You know, and there's a couple other guys that are doing and working as well, but Colin is finding a way to have, you know, over a 3.0 GPA while working a construction job and training twice a day, and working on some of his deficiencies. And so going into his senior year, he knows he needs to sort some things out and everything. And so once again, there's been multiple guys that are doing that as well, that are working jobs. You know, some are, I don't know if it's because one guy started this and then they all jumped on, but there's a bunch of guys that are working at different grocery stores in the Asheville area and back home. And so in my head, I've got a pretty good feeling that one guy started it and said, hey, you guys, like, it's not the hardest job in the world. And I think that's where 3 or 4 or 5 others jumped on. But, you know, Colin, to be able to go out and work construction all day long, get up and run in the morning, train at night, keeping the above a 3.0. His grades were wonderful this year. And the things that he's done, being a senior, are going to be, I guess I say, a senior this fall. Like really, really proud of him and just happy with everything that he's been doing. But like I said, we're fortunate. Our group has bought into all of that. They've bought into our Zoom meetings and how we do things, how we were doing things up until this past week, with those and 3 a week. And it was a lot to ask on them, but they found a way, and they were really sharp about it.
Taylor, what are you doing to sort of go through those workouts during this time where everything's anything but normal?
Yeah. So I've been fortunate enough that I'm living with my girlfriend right now during this time period, and she's crazy fit. So she's been pushing me, and doing those running workouts together. And then I've linked up with a couple of my, one of our former captain, Kyle Adams, lives right above me. So I've gone on a couple of runs with him. And then just seeing the boys and talking to them about it, you kind of just have to find a way to push yourself, because right now, obviously we can't all get together and do a team fitness test. So this really kind of brings out your ability to self-motivate and push yourself and drive. And I think that's something our group has in spades.
Coach Mick, soccer is what % running?
Oof. It's a lot. I think with how we're going to play, I would say it's probably 75,
Wow.
75 to 80%, just with how
Sorry,
we
Taylor.
want to. We want to be able to. We've got a couple of different tendencies and principles of what we want to do with how we defend and being able to go and press and do things together. But then on the attacking side, having to be able to run in behind, run between lines, get in the pockets and into the space, and the movement off the ball. So, maybe that's a touch high, but we know how we want to play. The boys know, through some of our meetings and the tactical side of things and the film that we've looked at, they understand and they've all recognized we're going to have to be extremely fit. But that's something that we can all control, I'll say I've even taken on the challenge myself of trying to be, maybe I'm not going to be as fit as the group. I'm trying to see if I can be. I figure if I'm going to ask them to run, and to be fair, it's not just myself. Our staff has taken on that whole approach. We say if we're going to ask the boys to run, and we have all this new free time where we're kind of stuck at home, well, to get out of the house, let's do something. Let's try a new fitness thing. Let's try some runs, whatever. So once again, we might not be as fit as them, and that will be wonderful if that happens and when that happens. But it's something that we embrace and the group embraces. So why not? Embrace who you are, embrace what you're all about, embrace the blue collarness to it, and don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be another team, regardless of how successful they are. We can take things away from other groups, but embrace it. So we know there's going to be a lot of running, and they're preparing for it.
Taylor, I'm sorry, man. Good luck. I'm cheering for you. Coach, you said with all this new free time, you're in a new house, right? You've got a lot of things going on in your personal life, right? What is all this free time you're talking about, man?
Yeah, well, as we said when we're off air, I'm one of those that I'm very fortunate that I can survive and I work off of very little sleep for whatever weird and unnormal reason that is. So you can add up free time where, okay, we're not on the field. How can we get better tactically by watching a game? Or something that our staff has embraced is about coaching education and leadership education over the last 3 months of being away is, okay, we've got to continue to get better somehow. Well, what are our avenues? And that was a big one. There is some new life changes, of course, moving and getting engaged and everything along those lines. And so certainly there's some outside of the game, there's some things going on, but at the same time, we're just so fortunate to have this group, to be able to work with this group, to be in the position we are in. We get to coach the game that we absolutely love more than anything in the world. Well, I think you make time for things when you get to do that. As you know, I'm sure you know as well. It's one of those when you want to make time for things, it's not that hard.
Very true. Taylor, on your team, who gets under the other team's skin the most? I in my head, I have a theory, but I want to hear what you think first.
Sorry, I missed that. Go again.
Is the player on your team that gets under the other team's skin the most?
Oh, who, like the biggest trash talker?
Yeah, just the rustler, the one that's gonna make somebody snap.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Sorry. I definitely have a tendency to kick people a little bit. I won't deny that. But I usually don't. I'm not the biggest trash talker. I'm not quite sure who I would say for that one.
Where's
Coach, you have
Miles
any-
on the list?
Miles, Miles just kind of just shuts people up with his ability to like run right past them. I think when we played ETSU, what was it like? He ran like 9 miles. It was insane.
Oh my gosh.
The amount I mean, our tactics demand a lot of our wingbacks, but they had the capability and the ability to do it. And so I think Miles honestly just lets his play and his ability to run right past guys speak.
See, I'm not sitting close enough when I'm broadcasting the events to hear if he's saying anything, but I see them so mad because he just spun around him and took off, and then they get close to him again, and he just kind of megs him, and there he goes again. And I didn't know if he was just talking to him while he was doing it, and that's what made him mad, or they're just mad because they're getting shown up. Mostly the second.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Yeah,
mostly the second, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, his skill is off the charts, and I've seen some people come in pretty hard on him, and so I in my mind I just assumed. Is this a trash talking team or a team that lets their play do the talking?
There's definitely some guys on the team who like the trash talk, like the banter. But I wouldn't say that our guys like to talk their heads off and let try to talk the other team off the field in a sense. It's very much a group of guys who want to go out there and grind and work their butts off for the result. And at the end of the day, if we get the result, then they'll let the other team know.
Coach Giordano, I know with theory and tactics, it's like building a house of cards and you remove one and everything falls. But in your tactics, in your system, is there one position where you're like, this has to be strong?
Yeah, I think for us right now with how we're playing, our midfield has to be a massive focal point of what we're doing, and they have to make sure that they are organized and sorted and that they can get the rest of the group going. I think, like you said, you pull out one piece regardless, and the whole thing could crumble. But I would say if you really had to look at it, I think because they're probably the engine of the group and the players, I think it's more down to the players as well and some of their personalities that really get the group going. That's a huge reason why that probably our group that we look to make sure that we're leading and we're driving on, and especially come this fall. We're extremely excited about some of the boys returning, some of the boys coming in, and their ability to kind of get everyone, sharp and moving forward.
Taylor, what's something you're looking forward to in this upcoming season?
That's hard to single out one thing. I'm just honestly, having spent all this time away from the group in social distancing, I'm just looking forward to playing with the boys again. And just playing the game that we all love. At the end of the day, it's a game, and we play it because it brings us all joy and happiness. But that aside, we all love to compete, and we all have a chip on our shoulder, and we all remember the past 3 seasons and how things haven't gone our way, and we definitely are coming with a blue collar mentality and something to prove. And the boys aren't taking that lightly, and we're ready to compete and to win.
When you say blue collar mentality and Coach Giordano says blue collar mentality, that's something that reminds me of I don't know, even a little bit another team that you coach, Asheville City. Do you think that this style of soccer wins like the South Slope Blues fans to maybe come over and do some college soccer as well?
That's certainly the hope, right? That's certainly what we're hoping for. And talking to those guys and Tim and everyone over there is, that they're so passionate about Asheville City, and they're so passionate about the club and that they have right there. We want to get them just as passionate about UNCA Bulldog soccer, and giving them something to do in the off season of City for both men's and women's at UNCA, giving them something for the fall to look forward to as well and to be proud of and coming in. And, the shades of blue might be different, but the mentality and what we're trying to do and how we're trying to play and the people that we want to work with. Like I said, we're fortunate enough. We have such a good group within our team, and that's the same thing of what we have at City as well. We're just trying to be fortunate enough to surround ourselves with good people of the proper character, and then everything else kind of comes to play. So we're certainly hoping that our brand can start to shine through, and we get our South Slope Blues friends over there. And like I said, it's a different shade of blue, but we know that they'll still be supporting us, and they'll certainly enjoy it. And when you find some success or you find a good brand, it's one of those it's always easy to follow, especially with good student athletes and good young guys and that we have on our group. It's wonderful to be able to follow them.
Taylor, with this opportunity to kind of talk to the UNC fans, what's something that you'd like to say to them that maybe that they didn't know about the team?
I mean, I think it's important to know that how close we are as a group. And when you come watch a match, I think that's evident. You can just see the way we are from how the boys are on the bench to how we are on the pitch. There's a close bond, and I think that's also evident in how we celebrate our goals. I mean, we had our goal this spring against ETSU. Ultimately, the winner, the whole team just sprinted to the sideline, and that was, I mean, I've seen goals scored in the spring before where it's okay, that's just a goal in the spring, but this one meant something to the group, and you could just see the joy on all the guys' faces and the excitement and how much our hard work was paying off. And that's when you come watch a Bulldog soccer match, you see the joy and the excitement on the field, and hopefully that transcends into the fans.
Coach Giordano, we're going to do something to end up the Thursday 30 podcast brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings, that I like to call just bright side predictions. Like if everything goes right, just best case scenario. Yeah. And I'll give you an example. There is a forward by the name of Taylor. He scores 6 goals this coming season. That is a bright side prediction. I think it's very possible too.
Oh, that's 100% realistic by all means. I think, we're going to get into some individual goal setting within the group pretty soon. And it's almost like you took my notes off my desk or something, because that was something that I had for Taylor. And I'm sure that's something that he has for himself as well.
100%.
All right. So you want me to continue with that? A couple more?
Yeah. If you want to do it as a team or individual players, whatever you want to do. Yeah,
we'll start with this, I think, and this is a big focus for our staff, and it starts with individuals, but it leads to team success. And we want to make sure and try and help each player maximize their individual ability within a team setting, because then when you can do that, the team overall has success. So when you look at Taylor, we hope he has 6 goals. We hope that our back three and the wing backs and everyone are able to outblock, so block more shots than the opponent on every single game. We're looking to outshoot each opponent. So, breaking it down where we hope Taylor, Tyson, Owen, Nate, and Colin, Izzy, some of our attacking guys, record, 4 to 5 shots every game. And they're able to impose themselves there. And then when you break it into the team, we're looking at making the Big South tournament. And we know what that requires. We know that even now, with it only being 4 teams instead of 6, that it's even more difficult. But ultimately the end goal is that we're Big South champions. Well, it's easy to say. Everyone says it, right? Every single team starts off saying that. But how do you do that? Well, first off, you got to get in the tournament. So, for us, would say, okay, we're going to be in the Big South tournament. Let's do that. Well, get in the Big South tournament, got to finish top 4 and get results in the league. And so what we've talked about, and to be fair, this has been a big thing the boys have said, which has been easy for the staff to embrace, is they want to make Greenwood Field a fortress. So they want to get points and try and maximize as many points as they can through all of our home matches, and then go on the road, and they want to steal points off of teams. And they want to try and do that. So we're looking at, that. But then it comes to non-conference as well, where we want to be able to start winning non-conference games. And I shouldn't even say start winning, closing out non-conference games, where we've been up, last year against, reigning Sunbelt champs Georgia State at home, we're up 2-0, right? We end up drawing 2-2. We want to close out those matches. We're drawn with Furman on the road, end up losing late in the last 30 seconds. We want to start closing out some of those matches and taking that next step in our process. And so we're looking to get to be at least 500 as we go this year. Ultimately, the biggest goal and the biggest achievement will be us having a normal season and us having to be able to go and play all of our games and do those things. But even if it's not, it's still take whatever season it is, have positive reactions to it, and then go make the most of it. I think that's a huge emphasis for what we're going to try and do, and ultimately what we will do come August and come this fall.
Taylor, what's your prediction? Bright side prediction.
Bright side prediction, Big South champs.
There you go.
Simple,
Coach said
straight
a
to the
bunch of
point.
words. That's what I needed. All right, I'm good. No, I'm
See,
kidding.
that's why we have Taylor. Taylor just simplifies it all.
But you're absolutely right, because you went through all the steps of everything that has to happen so that Taylor can score the goal. I love it. That was brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shows the brilliance of coaching right there. You set Taylor up to win.
Nice. Sometimes you get lucky.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us today, and giving the fans sort of an insight and a look into your life and during a pandemic, and getting us excited about next season.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, of course. Thank you for having us, and thank you for allowing us to come on and talk, and we appreciate it, and we just hope everyone stays well and stays safe, and come see us soon, because we're gonna be going on and doing what we can do.
This has been a Thursday 30 podcast brought to you by Ingles Markets, low prices, love the savings.